ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Drachmas and Denarii podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sam, joined today by co-host Kyle. We've got a very special episode lined up. This is the CNG Feature Auction 126. This actually got posted live last night, and I think it's going to be a pretty cool sale to go through. Lots of Roman, lots of Greek, lots of Byzantine, and hopefully lots of deals as well. So, Kyle, how have you been?
Doing well, hanging in there. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Been kind of busy. Got to apologize to our audience. I think we haven't had an episode in a long time now. I think maybe October was our last one, but just life got in the way. Yeah, still doing my master's program out in Austria and just exams and whatnot and homework. So I've been kind of busy but I'm glad to be back now and hopefully get this episode out.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think the sale looks kind of interesting though. At a glance going through it, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be bidding anyway, but I feel like the number of sort of extremely high-end coins is kind of missing in the sale. Although they've got lots of interesting stuff around the 1,000 to $5,000 mark, I feel like the maybe upper five, lower six-figure range, those sort of coins are missing in the sale. Kind of scrolling through, the only what I might call sort of a serious whale coin that we see is this stater right here. Besides that, though, a lot of the coins are sort of lower end value, which surprised me.
There's a couple decadrams that, as I recall,
Hmm.
Sicilian decadrams
Yeah,
that
we
were
got
interesting.
70, lot 70, looks like lot 69. But I feel like honestly, those are kind of a dime a dozen now. Just sort of the
Yeah.
Syracuse decadrams. Interesting, but I feel like nothing too remarkable in terms of sales selection.
And this surprised me if that gets bid up.
Yeah, sorry, your audio just cut out there. Were you mentioning lot 947?
That's correct. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's going to be a special one. I guess we can go ahead and dive into the sale right here. I think this is the first one of this type to come for sale in a couple of years now, a couple of decades actually. I want to say that 12th of January 2004 Triton sale was actually the last time this coin type came up.
It's really rare, and it's a beautiful example.
Mm.
I saw it in hand at the Baltimore Whitman show, and took a look at it, and it's like I'm gonna have to mortgage my house.
Yeah, you're quite lucky.
But it's out of my league, but it's something else. It really is nice.
Yeah, it's an amazing type. Lots of history too. I mean, I know the write-up kind of dived into this, but it was sort of associated with a series of commemorative medallions that I think was with the marriage between, I think it was the niece of Justin and then Tiberius, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
it
it, the
looked like it
niece.
was a belt of some sort that had, I think they said in the description, a pound and a half of gold on the belt, which is fascinating.
Let me see if I can find that real quick on Google. Here we go. I think this is associated in the series. I know that the Met, I think, has the entire belt on display right now. And I think this coin actually sold at Ira and Larry Goldberg, or maybe it was a New York sale about 2006, where I think it went for about $250,000, which I think in hindsight would have been a very good price considering the weight of this medallion. It's 90
Wow,
grams. Yeah, so
remarkable.
quite the piece. Yeah, and I wonder too. I mean, I don't know, not to disparage the Aureus at or the Solidus at CNG, but comparing the artistry here, obviously, it's almost night and day compared to this wonderful composition. You've got lots of depth and elements, and then the Solidus, not so much.
Yeah, which the medallions were presentation pieces to high-ranking officials, right?
Hmm.
Or
I think that's the
imperial family
theory,
members.
but it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and the Solidity, I mean, I'm sure there was probably somebody at some point, um, on different things, I would imagine. But but yeah, they're much more for normal use.
Yeah. But a nice coin, though. I'm curious what it'll go for. And CNG's given it quite the header. It's got a write up too, so I'm sure that, yeah, it won't be cheap.
I mean, given the provenance on it and the rarity, I could see this going for six figures.
Yeah. It's certainly a highlight coin, I think. Sort of the higher end pieces, I think the most interesting of the sale.
Yeah.
Of course, it's coming from a Byzantinist, but still. This was fun too, kind of random. I can't say I've seen one of these for sale before that's a Bronze Age oxide copper ingot. Kind of unusual for a CNG coin sale, but I suppose it's an early form of numismatics in a certain sense.
Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw too it was part of a sort of unpublished thesis. So I don't know if that quite counts as a provenance, but still sort of a published coin, a plate coin. And I know these, you can find them in museums sort of semi-frequently, so it's not the most rare item, but still pretty interesting. I think it's the first I've seen that has sort of been for sale for private hands.
Yeah, what do you think that'll go for?
Yeah, I have no idea, honestly. I can't say I'm a copper ingot specialist, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't many out there.
Yeah, but I could see some sort of museum wanting to buy this up, or maybe a college. But yes, quite interesting. But yeah, I think we can go and just look at the sort of the categories of the sale now.
Sure, sounds
I know
good.
we can maybe take a look at that family of Constantine collection. It's sort of a Byzantine Roman, late Roman focused collection that's got some nice coins, nice pieces.
Yeah, some really
This
nice
is
stuff in there.
this is the highlight too.
Most
They
of
got a
it.
medallion, super nice, sort of a 1 1/2 solidus medallion, but quite nice style. And the provenance too, 1896. It's hard to beat that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, nice style.
Very nice.
Yeah, I know they have a write-up about the collection in the booklets, the auction catalogs they shipped out, but sadly, mine got shipped back to the States, so I can't read it. But apparently, there's an interesting write-up about this collection. So anyone in the audience who
Yeah,
got that catalog, it might be
I'd like
worth
to read
checking
it.
out.
I'd like to read it. I haven't received the catalog, so
But hopefully
I
that
haven't
comes
seen it.
soon.
But yeah, yeah. If not, I can grab it at the
Yeah, I mean, it's a
next.
solid collection here they've got. I feel like it's kind of random though. I don't know. Lots of sort of low-end solidity, and every now and then sort of an expensive piece mixed in. Kind of unusual in that sense. I feel like a lot of times sort of the higher end collectors stick to high end and low end to low end. It's just sort of a good mix all around.
That's lovely.
Yeah, lots of sort of
And I
that.
kept seeing that there was I want to say there was somebody that was advising them of Switzerland on the collection, but I don't recall. I don't have it in front of me.
Roland Michel.
Yeah,
I'm
there you
not sure
go.
the name rings a bell, but could be numismatic circles. Perhaps I'm just not well acquainted with him.
Yeah, I'm not either. But he certainly seemed to have an eye.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of these are sort of you might call sort of the late Roman Empire, sort of extreme dynastic rarities, lots of empresses and princesses and things like that. Coins you don't often
Yeah,
see.
well, it's a good collection.
Yeah, some solid provenances too. Here's another one, 1913.
Yeah, if you can find a provenance like that on these,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
awesome.
insane. Yeah, this is a great
What's
coin. I
your
quite like these types,
the Valentinian the Third?
the
Yeah,
consular types. I like it very fun. But this one kind of a shame. It's double struck on the obverse, so a lot of the nice details sort of get muddied out and washed away. But the reverse is unusually crisp. It's quite nice.
now, now the consular types, those were typically struck in the beginning of the reign, right?
I think
Mark
so.
the beginning of the reign.
Or perhaps every 10 years. Yeah, look at the reverse here, the Vought X, Mult XX. So I'm guessing it would have been this at least a 10-year anniversary, but I'm pretty sure they did it every 5 or 10 years. And then if you collect the coinage of Valentinian, you can kind of collect throughout a series by getting sort of different commemoratives.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure most of the late Romans actually issued these too. You get some rare ones like Anthemius, but a lot of the later emperors or consular issues are sort of only in museums, only in public collections, none in private. I think even Olybrius has one. But yeah, it's a fun series. Something different for the period, as opposed to what you see here, lot 935, 936, just kind of the three quarters facing bust. I don't know. I think that gets kind of old after a while.
And that three did the three quarters facing bust. That's I think right. Does that sound
You
right
cut
to
out a
you?
bit in the audio, sorry.
The three quarters facing bust started with Arcadius, I think,
I
and then
believe it did, yeah. Would
ran
have been
up
Constantine
through
then. Actually, even later, maybe. Constantine the Fourth at a glance. I think
Yes.
it might have ended with him. I don't remember.
He,
Tiberius the Third, he kind of had the three quarters facing, but with the spear in front.
the spear in front rather than
Hmm.
behind. And it went to Justinian, and then Justinian switched to wearing chlamys and a forward facing bust. And then I think the next couple emperors sort of emulated that
Yeah.
until until Constantine the Fourth, I guess.
Mm. But a pretty iconic bust type. You can see through here. I mean, a lot of these people, I don't know, just sort of extreme rarities. I couldn't tell you who Aelia Verina is, but it looks expensive at least. The wife of Leo.
A
Interesting.
$15,000 estimate,
Yeah.
and that's just the estimate. Who knows?
Yeah, look at this. I guess five known, three in museums, two in private hands.
Wow.
Could be a coin that goes for quite a bit.
Yeah, that's something else. The rarity on that.
But I'd be interested though. I think the collection name is a family of Constantine, but they've got coins all the way to the end of the Byzantine Empire. So I'm kind of curious how that sort of plays into it. Family of Constantine, what the meaning behind that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, and of course I've got that super interesting lot 947. That's a
Yeah,
great
that's
one.
gorgeous. Beautiful coin.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have a decent sort of windfall here, all the coins they sell. Yeah, I mean, their collection pretty much is the Byzantine coinage of the sale. I think they've got four or five coins in the actual Byzantine selection, but this is pretty much it. You look at that Heraclius Constantine, like you don't see him very often either.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the Officina, that kind of oftentimes inflates rarity, but at least they say extremely rare, three examples known with this Officina. But I'm pretty sure he's quite rare overall.
Now, I think some of the references reference some of the coins of Constantine the Second or Constance the Second, excuse me, as Hercules Constantine.
Hmm.
Some of the earlier ones, but yeah, I have to look at this a little bit more to be honest. I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, I think I missed it too. Yeah, there is some controversy about the attribution on these.
I mean, he
Yeah,
reigned for what 9 months, so I mean,
yeah, it was very
certainly
brief.
coins coins are possible. I mean, there's reigns from other emperors and empresses from that are less time that there's plenty of coins available for them. So I
Certainly.
don't know.
But yeah, an interesting coin.
Yeah, some of these I haven't seen.
Okay, nice.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah,
excited.
it's a solid sub collection. I feel like what he's got here. But I will say I was kind of disappointed. I think sort of the 20 years anarchy is maybe my favorite period in this sort of early Byzantine coinage series. I think he's kind
Yeah,
of lacking in what he has there and also provincial coinage. There's not very much for this collection. So kind of sad about those two aspects. But besides that, some cool coins are going to come up here, some rarities.
I wonder why I looked at the sale and I wonder why I didn't see any of these.
Well, I wonder, I
I
thought it
just
was going to be sort of Constantinian phalluses. So I didn't even look at it the first time. The Family of Constantine collection,
I
the way it's
see
placed, it
because
kind of looks like it's going to be a phallus, but it's actually Byzantine.
I highlighted Constantine rather than the Family of Constantine collection. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of all these are hidden under that.
Yeah, I've got to go back and take a look.
Yeah. But plenty of good stuff here. Just sort of the anarchy,
Oh,
not much. I mean, they've got the
there's a
normal
Philippics,
solidity,
there's a Theodosius, right?
sure, but I don't know. I mean, rare, but kind of nothing too special.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a
Nice
nice
portrait.
example. Yeah, yeah, it's a nice coin. But still, I don't know.
That
I like the provincial stuff the best. And I think honestly, it's the most difficult to acquire and collect.
it is. Yeah. Um, yeah, I like the Western Mint stuff when I can get my hands on it. at a decent price, which is
Yeah,
very,
that's the hard
very
part.
rare. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a
pretty.
great example. Yeah,
Is
really
it
excellent
overstruck on
cards.
something,
Could be
or are those just flow lines or scratches? I can't
on the
tell in the
obverse.
field. Yeah,
Looks like
on
a
the
plan
obverse in the
flaw
field.
maybe here
The flint.
around
Yep.
like 4 or 5
Okay.
o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, a great example. And the Theodosius III. Yeah, I mean he's always expensive and hard to get.
A number of them came out last year. Um, I want to say usually you see one or two hit the market a year, and I think there was like 12 that hit the market
Were they at
last.
Nomos? I feel like I remember seeing that.
Nomos had something going on, and they referred to it as the AppSmart collection, and it was a lot of 20-year anarchy rulers. They had a number of Anastasius II's, Philippicus, and Theodosius III's, and then some of them were slabbed and then were in the heritage auctions as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, so it would seem like a horde.
I would think, but I don't know. But they're still super rare.
Definitely. I mean he's the hardest one to get.
Yeah, and I think you had some luck with a Theodosius III
Definitely.
Western Mint at
Got a
Trevises,
soft
didn't you?
spot in my heart. Just
I
paying for my
bet.
way through school, so I gotta shout out him. Gotta give him a thank you. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's some
yeah,
controversy historically with him because the sources are so spotty. But they say that he was a tax collector that was selected as emperor, but there's potential evidence that he was the son of Tiberius III.
really. I
Um,
didn't know that. Wow.
yeah, yeah, because after he was forced into abdication, he became a monk, and then supposedly the bishop of Ephesus, which also Tiberius the Third's son, who was named Theodosius, was also the bishop of Ephesus. So there's this make more sense than them selecting a random tax collector as emperor.
Yeah, interesting. Guess there's some more work to be done there.
Yeah,
Kind of
there
figure out
always
his
is.
actual origins. I mean, even with the coinage too, though, like my resale there was kind of a case of sort of a mistaken ID and whatnot. So once again, those provincial coinages, it's just so hard to get that right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just guesswork. It's educated guesswork based on
Hmm.
hoard evidence. But even that, it's you just don't.
Still
There
spotty.
was those Italian mints were so all over the place.
Yeah, makes some fun though. Oh, nice. So
Yes, it
here's the
does.
Art of Asdus. That's great.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you never see a Solidus from him.
this coin I would love to own.
And for a Byzantine, I mean, solid provenance. 1980. I
Yeah,
mean, I know for Greek and Roman you wouldn't care, but for a Byzantine, it's actually pretty solid.
yeah, that's it's got good provenance. The portrait of his son is a little bit better than his
Hmm.
portrait.
Yeah, double struck it looks like.
Yeah,
But
but
still, I mean, I feel like with this coin type, I wouldn't be complaining. Nice enough
no,
as
I wouldn't
is.
either. I wouldn't either. And unfortunately, it's well out of my price range. But uh, if I could get that, that would be the centerpiece of my collection for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I know the sort of Justin II and Tiberius joint reign solidus. That's kind of seen as maybe the keystone piece of this sale for Byzantine, but I would almost rather have this type than that. I mean, if I had to
I think I
choose,
would too.
value aside. I mean, obviously I take the coin that's worth more, sell it again, and then buy this and have some leftover money. But if that weren't a factor, I mean, I think I'd choose this.
Yeah, I think I would lean towards well. And there's some other rarities that they have further down the line, but this is the one that I think I would like to own one of these someday in Mazizius as well.
Yeah,
But
that's the harder one. I think
but
there's what, five
I have to
known
win the
for him,
lottery
Mezesius?
first.
Yeah, a nice Irene here. A lot of times you get a flat
Yeah,
strike. This actually looks
yeah,
pretty good.
it's a nice shape. That is
Double
nice.
double struck, but still. Be good for any collection of tyrants or whatnot, despots. I think she'd fit right in.
Yeah, she's got quite a story for sure.
It's kind of a rare Theophilus too. I mean, nothing crazy, but I feel like this type you don't see too often.
Yeah, this is the rare of the type.
I want to say, isn't this the
Without
first issue of his Soul Reign, or considered
yes,
like his sort of his first coinage as an independent emperor?
yeah, and then the next issue after this was on the reverse. I think a picture of him and his son, which would be Michael the Third.
Yeah. And speaking of which, there's actually a couple coins of his in the sale. They all look quite nice, and they've got the three different types for him, which is actually quite an accomplishment unto itself.
Yeah,
Any sort of his
these are
emperors
rare.
are, yeah, it's very hard to get. Of course, this one
Yeah,
isn't too nice, but the obverse still, it's got some redeeming quality.
yeah. I mean, it's a rare type.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can get any of them, you're doing well.
I think so. Yeah, this one's quite pleasant as well.
Yeah, and these have been getting bid up recently that I've seen
Mm.
when I've seen examples come to market.
And this
Like,
one's
look at that!
magnificent. Florida
Wow,
coin.
is there provenance on that?
Mm, I mean, kind of. 2005, the Triton.
That's really gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
that'll
fun
go
figure
for me.
too. Kind of defamed in the sources, but it seems like it was done unjustly by his successor. Sort of a way to legitimize himself because he was overthrown. But even the Byzantines at the
Yeah,
time sort of compared him to Mark Antony, sort of as a pro and a con. The full comparison, as in, like, Mark Antony was kind of seen as a noble warrior who would go out and fight, but also debauched, a drunkard. They kind of said Michael III was much the same. He had the good
yeah.
and bad qualities of Mark Antony.
I mean, he ruled for I want to say like close to 20 years. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't have the numbers in front of me, but anybody who rules for that long, can't be all
especially in
dumb all the
Byzantium. I
time.
mean, even their good
Yeah.
emperors they'd overthrow. So if you're bad, it's a
I
ticking
mean, that's
time
one of the
bomb.
things I always talk a little bit of, when people like to rip into focus, and I agree. I mean, he basically took down the empire with his revolt, but um, he did rule for 9 years. So it wasn't like he didn't have some support at the time.
Yeah, he was beloved in the West. I think he's the last emperor with a monument in Rome, which is pretty fun.
That's right. Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
the
The
pillar
Pope
of
liked him.
focus. Exactly. And I think honestly, I mean, if you look at Heraclius, it's not like he's much better. Also a usurper who came out of nowhere. Things could have gone very
Right.
differently very easily. He could have also ruined the empire as well. I mean, I think his legacy is debatable. I feel like a lot of Byzantinists kind of want to portray him as a hero, but I think he actually did a lot of harm as well. Sort of took down
Well,
focus at the weakest point in the empire's history. And then even though he beats the Persians, I mean, he still loses the empire to the Arabs. So I think he's got a mixed legacy.
he was bankrupt, and they had borrowed lots of money from the churches, pay the army, and when he won against the Persians, fiscal responsibility was the rule of the day, and so they were looking to cut back, and part of that was paying subsidies to their Arab allies, and so the money wasn't flowing like it was the rise of Islam and the Caliphate.
Yeah. It's also a fun period, though, to collect. I think this collection, too, has got a fun pseudo imperial type, sort sort of the very early Arab
Yeah,
issues imitating Hercules.
yeah, which is fascinating. And those always get bid right up.
Yeah. I don't know if it's sort of the dual appeal with Islamic collectors and Byzantine, but I mean, they kind of have almost ridiculous prices, in my opinion. They go for upper
Yeah,
five figures sometimes.
yeah. I mean, some of the more expensive coins out there are of that type.
Let me see if I can find that real quick. I think it was from them in their sub collection where I saw it. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go.
I mean, that's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, unique apparently too. I can't say I'm an expert per se, but yeah, I think I'll take CNG's word on that.
Yeah, I don't know much about these. Only that, when looking at some of the more expensive Byzantine coins that have sold, um, these are always at the top of that list.
Yeah, and this one seems to be plated too. And decent provenance. I mean, 1967 for a coin like this. I
Yeah.
feel like that's pretty solid. About as good as you can expect.
Yeah, I mean, with Byzantine coins, it's tough to get the provenance that you would see on like some of the Greek coins that are out there, and it just wasn't something that was thought of that much, and there wasn't that much of a concentration on it.
Yeah,
Um, there's a few big sales over the years, but most part,
yeah.
they weren't really considered as special.
I mean, even today, still, thankfully, I'd say, still pretty cheap
Oh, I think they're the best deal in well in all of coins, but in ancient coins
for
for sure.
sure. Even medieval too, in comparison. Here are some fun types, though. I mean, kind of talking about this collection. I'm not quite
I
sure
mean
what the focus
that
was.
Alexander score,
Yeah,
and
but I mean, just even to have multiple Constantine the Sevenths, to have Michael the Third, a few coins of his. I mean, that is
mm-hmm,
quite impressive. Yeah, fun type, kind of capturing that Middle Byzantine style.
yeah,
When you look at that
yep.
Christ and the obverse, it almost screams Anglo-Saxon to me. Just kind of the artistry here, the way he's depicted. It's fun with
I
the
mean, there's a
Loros
lot of
too. Never noticed that with the cross on the side.
mm-hmm,
That's fun.
beautiful.
And the Alexander, yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's flawless.
Is that John Chrysostom?
That's a good
Oh, okay, never
question.
mind. Saint Alexander, okay. Uh, just kind of misread that legend, I guess. But that is an interesting one.
And I think one of this type sold earlier in the year, and it went for high five figures, I think, or mid five figures,
Yeah, these are very expensive. Although I
like
can't
40
say I
grand.
know much about Saint Alexander, to be honest.
Yeah,
Can't say I've heard of him. This is Alexander of Constantinople, the first archbishop of the city. Hmm, fun. I would almost guarantee that's the only time that saint's depicted on coinage. I don't know for certain, but I'd take a wild guess and say that's the case.
probably. And I don't think there was another emperor named Alexander either.
Mm-mm.
Or was there one? I can't
I
remember.
don't think so.
No,
Maybe one of the sons of Romanos Lycabenos might have been. I don't think any actual serious emperor was.
okay.
I think it was kind of seen as bad luck after this Alexander.
Yeah, he didn't last long.
No, I'm pretty sure he went insane and died. But yeah, I think kind of ironically though, he's one of the few emperors we actually have a good depiction of
Yeah,
because his mosaic actually survives. And so even though he kind of didn't do very much at all in the history of Byzantium, he's one of
the
the sort of
Hagios
most
Sophia.
well-known emperors in the sense of depictions, a lifelike realism here.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Akakia. Yeah, which is fun. Yeah, exactly. It was this. He's pretty fun. He was the emperor who thought the statues in the Hippodrome were talking to him and cursed him, and he melted them down.
So he only lasted a year. It looks like from a reign perspective.
Yeah, I think some sort of armchair diagnoses from historians say he might have had some form of brain cancer, possibly a tumor that might have made him go insane. We're not
Yeah,
quite sure, but basically, I think he was sort of seen as like a the brother partied very often, then somehow became emperor himself and went insane afterwards. Maybe kind of like a la Justin II, kind of similar.
yeah,
But yeah, fun solidus, and I'll be curious to see what that goes for.
that is gorgeous.
Yeah, Constantine the 7th, fun type.
Yeah, this is one that I saw, and they had a pretty high estimate on it. And I'm not familiar with this, but it's because of the crowning. I don't know. I don't know what makes the type rare.
I'm not quite sure. I don't think it is that rare in comparison to what we've seen so far. I think maybe just a nice quality. I mean, it is rare, it is more valuable, but yeah, I'm not quite sure myself.
I thought it was the crown on the figure to the right on the reverse that made it
Okay. Hmm.
different because I don't recall that much of a crown on the other ones, but I could
Yeah.
be very wrong.
Yeah, interesting. Have to look into that. And also a rare type too.
Yeah, it's nice as well.
Yeah, shame these are so rare. I feel like they're kind of fun depictions about the art in this sort of this century. A lot of this sort of more common solidity are quite mundane, at least in comparison.
Yeah, I feel like they put their time and effort into the busts of Christ or the representations of Christ and the representations of the imperial figures on here. Um,
They don't matter as much.
yeah,
I mean, you can tell, yeah, just in the way the face is structured of Christ and the emperor. And the emperor's kind of have a very standard V and a point for the chin, but Christ even has
hmm
beard details and whatnot. And yeah, they took their effort, especially for the robes too, the way they're folded. Lots of care. This one is great too. I love the Soul Reign coinage. I think it's some of the best out there for the Byzantine series.
Oh, it's fantastic. Those those go for large sums of money as well.
Yeah. I can't say this is the best example I've seen, but still quite nice.
Again, I feel a little unprepared because I didn't realize that the sale.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
so
I'm
much
seeing
more in this
some
collection.
coins for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the Byzantine section itself outside of this was very scant. I think it was 6 coins actually. We can go ahead and look here real quick. But I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
nothing really special out here. I mean, actually, there is 1 coin. Hold on. I think this Trakey's quite nice. I might be
that's
bidding on
smart.
that, so I quite like it. I said I might be
I
bidding
don't
on
really
it.
know a lot about those, but they're this one is just spectacular.
Yeah, quite nice. Good detail.
And I know this is more in your wheelhouse
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you can tell
for your
here
son.
just the clothing of the emperor and the saints. I mean, a lot of times you don't get that much detail.
Oh,
Struck very well in sort of almost an immaculate shape. But I
oh,
would
it's
expect that
beautiful.
final prices sort of reflect that. I think this estimate is very, very, very generous. Uh, I think maybe I'd guess it goes more for like 5 to 10, so probably out of my price range too. Sadly,
5 to 10,000, you think?
yeah. I mean, I think it is the nicest one known, so it's kind of hard to guess. If the whales show up, who knows what it goes for?
It just takes two people to really want it.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
nice. But I think besides that, this portion of the sale is quite boring. I mean, not boring, but nothing
I
spectacular.
mean,
Besides that
That
trophy, I
Irene is
couldn't have told you it's
nice.
not a neat cell.
The Irene was nice. That Focus Solidus from Carthage. That's a rarer
Oh yeah, true.
date.
But
Um,
besides that, I think it looks like a
yeah,
neat
the
cell.
just yeah.
I mean, I think this trachea and those two are kind of the only feature coins in there.
I
Yeah.
think my problem was I typed in Byzantine in the search bar, and some came up from that family of Constantine collection, and then the others came up, but not all of them. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to go and click the boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, some fun types here. We can get
Yeah,
back to the main
that's
portion though. Or
sure.
yeah, I figure that's where all the better coins are anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great example of a well put together Byzantine collection. Although I don't know, I don't want to hate on the collection. I think it's quite nice, but it does feel kind of like by the book, if that makes sense. We kind of mentioned there's no provincial coinage. I feel like a lot of the more, I mean, not even necessarily more rare coins, but the sort of less understood coinage has not been represented well here. It just kind of feels like a
It's
standard shopping list of expensive and well-known solidity.
I think you're right. You're right on. It's not nuanced, right? I mean, it's not. Um, I think it's got all the major sort of rarities, or most of the major rarities that are out there, as you call it, a shopping list, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't. But to your point, I don't think that there's um, a lot of nuance to it. This is interesting. I might take a shot at this, but I have a feeling this is going to go for um, more than I want to pay for it.
Yeah, I think this
I
is one
need
of the
it.
more fun types of the area. I think
Yeah,
Basil, I mean, I think he's the better emperor, obviously, just in terms of fascination, history, interest. But his coinage is so boring. I don't know. I find it tedious, to be honest. But I think at least as Brother Constantine is some fun. I think this is honestly one of the premier Byzantine types, in my opinion. Just a wonderful depiction
yeah.
of the emperor. And if you get them nice, I think they can't be beat.
I've seen these go for like $800, and I've seen them go for like $3,000 and up. Right. I guess it just depends on the auction and sale. But what's kind of cool about this, and it's one of sort of the things that I focus on, is it's a plate coin. So it's got a good story to tell along
So I
with
was
it.
curious
And
about that. I don't know if I know Burke Roman. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Do you know the work?
yeah, it's I think it's
Is
oh
it
god,
Harlan
I
J.
have
Burke?
it. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
I
he
have it
did
upstairs in the
reference
library.
works.
It's I think it's like gold coinage of the medieval Roman world or something along those lines. I'd have to go
Hmm.
up and look at it. But most of those coins that he plates in that book came to market in a 1998 Sotheby's sale, an important collection of Byzantine coins. So a lot of the stuff that he plated were auctioned off in that auction.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I
But
think
yeah,
in the
any kind of plate coin or good provenance, that's usually what I'm typically looking for. So
with Byzantine
this
too, it
tells
gets more difficult.
it does. Yeah, it does.
I think too on the price topic though, I think it's Christ who makes a big difference on these. I think you're right though. The prices they can vary so much, but I think the Emperor is almost always in decent shape or decent enough shape. But I think Christ a lot
Yeah.
of times he gets more muddied, off strikes, poor dies. So I don't know. I think that can be a big price changer if you have both sides that are quite nice.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes for over $3,000.
Yeah.
And it's a nice coin, and it's got the Burke provenance on it as a plate coin.
I mean, I would say if you
Um,
wanted this type, this would probably be as nice as they come. Plus the
yes,
I don't know
yeah,
if
it
I don't
is.
know how important that work is. But I mean, relatively interesting to have the provenance nonetheless, to have it as a
Yeah,
plate
yeah,
coin.
it is. It's tough because a lot of the reference works, like Dumbarton Oaks, all those coins are in museums, right?
Mm,
So chances are, if it's plated in a Dumbarton Oaks reference book, it's not something that's ever going to come to market.
yeah. Do you know, is this Burke book, is that actually a major reference, or do you think they included it just because this was plated in there?
I think they probably included it because it's an illustrated example. Um, I've got the work. It's. I mean, I think it's an important reference work.
Hmm.
But I don't. Um,
I mean, do you think it's
uh,
necessary to get a copy? I feel like, I mean,
I think
I'm not too active in the area in this specific time field, but I feel like I've never quite seen that before in an auction description, but maybe I'm just blanking and it's more common than I think.
yeah, I think it's pretty easy to get a copy. Actually, there's a lot of copies were made of this book. Um, I think I paid like $25 for mine.
Okay,
So
wow, not
uh,
bad. That's cheap.
yeah, it is. I mean, it's not like you know getting a
It's not like MIB where you gotta go to an
MIB
auction
where
and
you're
pay ridiculous
yeah,
amounts.
right, right. Um, so it's I do see it cited, especially from auctions in the past. Like that whole Sotheby's auction cites the whole thing because a lot of those coins were plated in that.
Hmm. Well, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd say if this
Yeah,
one goes for, I mean, honestly, I think anything under two would be quite fair from what I've seen.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I've seen these things go in auctions for 900 $1,000, and I've seen others, just get bid right up. So it really depends on the auction and who's bidding and who's interested. But like I said, I might take a shot at this, but I wouldn't be surprised that this goes up above what I'm willing to pay for it.
Well, good luck. I think it's
Yeah, we'll see.
a coin worthy of a collection. It looks quite nice. Kind of a fun type too, nothing too special, but I don't know. I quite enjoy these.
Yeah, that's nice. I love the hand of God coming down, and
Yeah, it's always fun. And the Theotoko is a nice depiction here.
yeah,
Like her robes kind of get messed up sometimes, or I don't know, they're just not properly defined. But this looks quite nice though. Quite correct if you compare it to iconography and whatnot.
yeah, it's got a great reverse on this.
Yeah, the obverse is kind of a shame.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's a little. Yeah,
A little
it's like
abstract, overstruck some
is it,
issues.
is it overstruck or is it dye rust? I can't tell. I'm looking at this
It's
on my phone, but
I want to say, oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe double struck. Hard to say.
yeah.
Actually, I think it is double struck. If you look at the hair on the halo, especially on the
Hmm.
left side, you can kind of see where it was hit and then struck again.
Excuse me.
But yeah, a fun type.
And
Another
there's
plate
one
coin
that
here. And there's actually, I
yeah,
don't know, a more important plate coin, I'd say. And of course, speaking of Burke, not listed here. So yeah, I think it might have just been because that coin was plated in Burke gets the
probably.
listing. This is quite
Yeah,
nice though.
from a Byzantine perspective, it's usually Sear and Dumbarton Oaks and MIB, and then depending on the time period, you might
Yeah,
get
you get supplementals
yeah. I mean, Fugue. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, Fugue or Fugue.
or Foyk. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe yeah. Um, his work is really quite good, but it's I only have the first volume, which I think goes from I can't. It's like Anastasius the second to I don't know. I'm not sure to who. Maybe Nicophorus the third, or
Yeah, he
I
stops
can't
before
remember.
where I collect, so I don't think I ever bothered with the volume.
But it's well researched. It's got good stuff in it, and the Germans use summer
Hmm.
um, instead of sear.
Yeah, which
I
is kind
see,
of random. But you are right though.
but this is really nice. This is a nice coin.
Yeah, and I think as good as they come, especially Christ kind of being on the Skiffate side of that. His face a lot of times gets sort of mushed out. The details aren't quite proper. In this one, I think the photography is a bit odd, a bit awkward, but if you look, all the details are actually there.
Yep. Yeah, there's just
Some nice toning too.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one either.
Yeah, a fun type.
One of them just sold. There was one that just sold in the Heritage Byzantine Spotlight that went for, I thought, higher than I thought it would have.
Hmm.
I think it went for $3,000 or $4,000.
I'm guessing Mid State Star.
No, it was like in an bit up for some reason. Somebody must have known something about it that I didn't,
Hmm.
which is which is very possible.
Maybe a plate somewhere.
Could be. I
I
mean,
think,
I recently bought something in that Heritage auction that I found provenance on that.
yeah, I remember that. That's pretty crazy
Yeah. So, I mean, you can find certain coins
if you know where to
uh,
look.
if you know where to look and you've done your homework a little bit.
Hmm. This is a fun type too. I think, I don't know, not the most interesting, but rare, hard to find for the emperor at
Rare.
least.
Yeah.
Once again, kind of like a buy the textbook coin type, I'd say.
This is Michael the Sixth. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. And I seem to remember the attributions on this. They weren't, whether some of them were continuations of Michael the Fifth or some of
hmm.
them were Michael the Sixth. But
Interesting. Yeah,
uh, I know that this type is, I think, generally thought of as Michael the Sixth at this point.
yeah. I think Michael the Fifth, though, he's more interesting. And wasn't he the one that is written about in Selos, sort of being blinded and taken
Yes.
down? Yeah, that's a great account. I think one of the best medieval texts out there. Sort of a thriller from an
And
eyewitness about how an emperor got taken down, sort of
and didn't
arrested by a
they
mob.
didn't they say it was Harold Hydraja who
Yeah,
did
took
the
his eyes
blinding
out.
essentially,
Yeah,
or
yeah, which is pretty
and his
awesome.
his whole saga before he became who he became. He was in the
Before his
Varangian Guard.
fiendship, yeah, yeah, it's just a fun era, fun history, fun types.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
I think now we're getting
I'm
into all the
I'm
Byzantine.
excited to go and review these because a lot of these I haven't seen yet. So
Yeah, it's a strong sale, honestly. I quite like the coins that were put up here. They got some nice examples. I think this is one of the ones I'm going to actually go for pretty seriously. Theodore Comnenus Ducas, but it's quite rare to see. And it's not in great shape, but I don't have the money to buy a mint state example, so I think this will be a good chance to get a budget coin.
beautiful.
Yeah, he's from Thessaloniki, and he's kind of seen as a rival emperor. And I see they're the ones who kind of win the game of musical chairs and become the Byzantine Empire in exile, but he was pretty close. Had he not gotten captured by the Bulgarians and blinded, he might have done it himself.
Dangerous times back then.
Definitely. But yeah, fun issue. I mean, it's got some problems, not well struck, but rare issue and decent overall. No provenance though, which is kind of sad, but
Maybe
whatever.
you can find some.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. I won't bid on it, but it's fun. I think it's the worst known example for the type. It's got some issues. It was bent and reheated and bent back. Yeah, some striking issues, but I don't know, a rare enough issue. I think if you buy it around opening, I think you get a good deal.
Yeah, I don't know enough about these, but it looks pretty awesome.
This one's fun though. This is one of the better ones I've seen for this type. Sort of, I mean, they don't know exactly when this was issued. It could have either been under Andronicus III or during the Regency Civil Wars for his son, but they've got a lot of issues a lot of times. So this one's quite nice to actually see in the obverse. You've got clear faces for both figures, and that's actually quite rare to see. Of course, with flan cracks and whatnot, it's got its own problems. I feel like it's actually a very nice example of this coin. Yeah, some more fun types. Got the good old
Yeah,
Constantine the 11th, where it feels like, of
no, the
course.
Constantine. Yeah, and that's a small coin too, right? That's not a
Mm,
full.
no, this is 0.59 grams,
Yeah,
the eighth Stabraton.
but it's nice.
Yeah, these have shot up in price a lot. I feel like, I don't know, pre-COVID, I want to say they were going for like 1,000, 2,000 for these. And of course, now look at the price. I think too expensive for what you get there.
I agree. I mean, they say it's the last ancient coin, and it's interesting, and it's got a lot about coins is about what kind of story you can tell about the coin, right? And
Hmm.
I think it's got a good story, right? And it also, if you're not a Byzantine collector, it's a crossover coin
Yeah,
where it's like I got to have the last ancient coin. Um, and what's sort of interesting is that the Empire of Trebizond continued on for I think another
a
40
couple
years or
years.
30, yeah, for a while after
I think it
after
was
the
till
fall.
1461, I want to say. So
Hey, there
maybe
you go.
just under a decade. But if you look,
So
their final emperor issued coins, and you can buy them from him, I think, for very cheap prices. Or maybe not the final one, but you can get some pretty light coinage cheap.
yeah, I've got I think I have an example that I consigned to Heritage.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I want to say Alexius IV, he was the last emperor to issue coinage, but I think David was the final emperor. So I don't know what the time difference there is. Okay, 429. All right, I guess not too late, but still, for a cheap alternative, you can get these for, I don't know, $50, $100, maybe even cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, for a coin like that, it's you know, it's more about the story you're going to tell people with it than I don't think I would look down at my tray and be like, "Ooh, I love this coin."
No.
It
And I think
doesn't do
one thing
much
they
for
don't
me.
point out here too, you've kind of got two sub-series. You've got sort of a finer style series and a worse style series. They suspect the final style or the finer style was actually sort of a coronation issue or a wedding issue, and that would have been issued before the siege, and that the rougher
Right.
style ones would have been issued during. And I would assume this is a finer style at a glance. It looks far too nice compared to some of the siege coins I've seen. So even though you get this fancy write-up, this may not even be a part of that sort of historical episode.
Yeah, I think the style on this is for the
Remarkable,
type.
honestly.
Yeah, really good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how big these are. There must be like,
Tiny.
yeah. It's the
This is 11.5 millimeters.
yeah. So they're real small.
Pinky nail size.
Yeah,
Yeah, fun coin. Who knows what it'll go for, but I think even the opening's overpriced. But
we'll
yeah,
see.
not
We'll
my
see who
money.
shows up. See who shows up at this auction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this one is great. I think one of the best ones I've seen for the type. Andronicus Gaiden from Trebizond. But pretty much perfect. Just a wonderful
Wow,
Christ on the reverse and a wonderful Mary on the obverse. They
that's
rarely
amazing.
come this nice.
Oh, that's really nice. You're right.
Yeah, fresh cut dies too. Look at the lettering. Just so sharp.
What do you think this will go for?
I don't know. They're not quite rare, but they're not quite common either. I would guess if it was sort of a lower grade issue, it might be go up to like 700. This nice though, maybe 15. Yeah, I guess
I
I've
was gonna
got the
say they
estimate around
they just don't
750.
ever look that nice.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think if you were going to go for this type, this would probably be the nicest one you can find, or at least up there.
Yeah.
I guess the only difference is you can get some of them plated. So maybe you don't want this one because it doesn't have a provenance or plated history, but still. And then if you skip through over the Islamic stuff, this is kind of interesting. A lot of these coins that got group lotted, I thought looked like they were better than some of the coins I saw individually lotted, which was kind of random. This one, not so much, but it's just sort of a group lot of some Byzantine gold. I mean, common solidity or whatnot. But I'm surprised they didn't get sent to an e-sale, but instead got put into a consignment here. It's a group lot.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
I mean, I would say each of those coins you could probably expect to get at least $300-400 for. Maybe not the Trey Missis, but the rest.
Yeah, but the rest of them, I mean, I feel like there's
Especially
some
where was
decent
it?
coins.
This is a great example, I'd say. It's like a
Yeah.
$700 coin. And yeah, just kind of
Yeah, I'm
interesting. I mean,
surprised they did it that way too.
if you
But
look over here too, I mean, more coins that are actually quite nice. I mean, look at this one.
yeah.
Christ on the obverse. You usually don't see that much detail. The reverse is quite nice too. Got the full Saint and Alexius. And over here, I mean, this is a perfect hyperpyron. Oops. I mean, pretty much perfect. I don't know. I'm surprised it didn't get sold individually. Just seems kind of
Well,
random. And
you can
especially when
buy
they,
the lot, and sell off a
yeah,
few things, right? Maybe get a coin or two for free out of it.
yeah. Get some more over here. I mean, this one's not that nice, but I don't know still. This is actually a rare Byzantine AE type from a usurper. I don't know. In this condition, I'd say it's worth 300, but I feel like for the sale, even if it's not a super valuable coin, it would have just added a bit more sort of texture and flavor as opposed to putting it in a group lot.
Who's the usurper?
Theodore Mangafasas, I want to say. I don't know how you pronounce the last name. Mankafas. So he was in Philadelphia for a while and sort of rebelled against the imperial authority, got taken down, and then after the 1204 sack, revolted again. And his last name there, his nickname, the Mangfasas, actually means the fool, Theodore the Fool. So it was kind of a disparaging nickname because he tried to revolt so many times and always failed. But that attribution is still kind of tenuous, but it seems likely these are from him. And also these would have been from the, not after the sack, but before. So like 1190s up to 1194. But yeah, I don't know. Like some nice coins in here in these lots. This one is the
Yeah, they go.
craziest. I looked at this. Check this out. I think this just kind of wowed me. Look at this coin here. It's not the exact same type, but they're comparable enough. I would actually argue this type, oops, hold on. This type here is the more desirable of the two types I'm about to show you, because this one is sort of issued just the sole reign of John with his mother as regent, and this one actually has the Emperor Andronicus on the obverse being crowned by Mary. I think from what I've seen, this issue here tends to go for more money than the issue individually allotted here. And I would say this coin in the group lot is far nicer, far better details than the one you see individually lotted. And I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me that this coin would get put at a solo price of, I don't know, 600, and this one got put into a group lot. I would argue
Yeah, I
this
don't know
coin probably goes for more
what the
money than that
decision
one.
criteria was on this.
It makes no sense to me. I mean, I think this is actually an amazing lot. I might bid on it myself. I feel like it's almost like a mini late Byzantine collection starter. If you look, it's a near perfect hyperpyron. They never come this nice. If you look at the reverse here, the depth of the strike, the details, I mean, it's
Wow.
quite amazing. I mean, I'd say that's like a $500 coin right there in the group lot. This one here, Andronicus II and Andronicus III, nice. It's got a flan crack. Like, all right, I can see that one got group lotted. Not the best coin. But this one, though, this is actually a rare issue. You can see this coin here that I pointed out earlier that was super nice. Hold on. It's actually a version of that. But even though it's not as nice, you've got a clear strike of the Emperor in his face on the group lotted coin. And I'd guess this is the $500 Hyperpyron, 400 maybe. And I don't know why that would be group lotted. It doesn't make sense to me. The aforementioned Basilicon, that's nicer than the one listed solo. I don't know, just kind of confusing. And this one too, this is actually a very rare hyperpyron of John the Fifth and John the Sixth that you almost never see. I don't know what the value in that one would be, but I'd also guess like $500, $600. So you've got a bunch of super valuable and rare coins that all got put in the slot. And then, I don't know, just seems kind of sus to me. I think if I were cataloging the sale, I would have done that differently.
Right on, though. There's some good deals there.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I kind of did the math personally. I sort of ran up what I thought everything would go for at an auction. And I think that if this lot went for about 2,400, you would end up losing a bit of money by the time you pay fees on it, sell it again, and the auction house gets its cut. But I think if you got it at about 2,000 or less, you could probably make a good bit. But still, I don't know. Just seems kind of random to group lot it. I think it actually lowers the appeal. I think a lot of these coins would have been fine on their own.
I'll have to keep my eye on it.
Yeah,
The fees will kill you.
definitely. That's the get you, the gotcha. But still, I don't know. I think besides the kind of weird group lots, this has been sort of an interesting collection. I think maybe not the most interesting. It doesn't have the most rare types. I think it maybe sort of lacks the, I don't know, not to hate on it or bash on it, but sort of the scholarly aspect of a lot of collections where you kind of see someone study the coinage in depth and collect all the
Yeah.
varieties and new types and have unpublished coins. I mean, I think there's not an unpublished type in this entire collection here. So I think it was more of just, I don't know, nothing wrong with it, but someone with a lot of money collecting very nice examples of sort of key and well known types. And as you see, results in a nice collection.
I'll have to dig into it a little bit because, like I said, I missed out on some of these, on seeing some of these. Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks like there's some really key offerings in the sale.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I think, I don't know, lots of good deals, hopefully, especially in those group lots. And I think, I mean, opening seems fair on pretty much all the coins. I doubt everything stays there, but still, as it
Yeah.
stands, cheap enough.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see who shows up at this auction.
Definitely.
Usually the CNG auctions are a little too expensive for me. Unless there's something specifically that I'm looking for and I have to reach, but I feel like I always end up having to reach when I'm bidding in these auctions.
But I've got to wonder, though, I'd say the Triton was pretty weak. So I don't know. I wonder if that was
Yeah,
sort of a one-off or if the trend continues, but I gotta say, the January sale felt like the hammers are quite low, especially on Byzantine. I think Greek and Roman seemed decently strong, but Byzantine, I don't know.
yeah. There was.
I had a piece I consigned, disappointed with the hammer, but overall too, I just thought prices seemed quite low.
I agree. I had a number of pieces consigned in Triton, and um, the performance was suboptimal for sure.
Mm,
Um, and I don't know if it's just, I don't know because I've seen still strong prices in the European auction houses, and Heritage I feel like has been getting strong prices, even for coins that are in problematic slabs. I think people are sort of starting to catch on to the fact that slabs really don't mean a lot
yeah,
when it comes to a nice coin, whether it says brushed or something silly on it like that.
yeah, for ancients, that makes no sense.
Yeah. So, um, and and some of the coins that I had consigned at Triton did actually really well, but overall, there were a few that I think should have done much better.
Well, even that Arius, I bought an Arius there. I think I sent you some photos, but I feel like even that I
Yeah,
got
that
so
was nice.
cheap, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I felt like I would feel bad if I didn't buy it. Just kind of an example of another coin that I thought should have gone for maybe twice what I paid, but for whatever reason, it stayed quite low.
Yeah, I mean, take the deal and run.
Yeah, fair. You win some, you lose some. The coin you consign goes cheap, and the coin you buy goes cheap. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Just life.
yeah.
And I
I
gotta
mean,
say,
with
I mean,
auctions,
I'm not one to
you never.
I'm not one where I should complain. I feel like, especially last year's Triton, been plenty blessed. But yeah, so
For
who
sure.
knows? I think at least this year for this auction, I've got no consignment, so I hope it stays cheap. Maybe I can get that
Yeah,
cool trachea.
I don't have anything in this auction. I have a few things at the consigned at Heritage.
Okay,
Um,
nice. Any reason
and
why you chose Heritage? Just slab coins or
I had a number of slab coins that um, I'm really moving away from slabs.
epic?
Coins are coming out of the slabs, except if it doesn't make economic sense to do so. And a few of those I put into Heritage. And then there was as I'm focusing more on Byzantine, I started to move some of like my Roman Republic stuff or um, some of the 12 Caesar stuff, some stuff like that.
I'm kind of curious. I mean, with Heritage, how's that been so far, the experience? I feel like from what I see, sometimes they feel just kind of corporate in comparison to other sort of ancient coin firms. I don't know. It just feels like they're very much sort of a collectibles firm that feels like a conglomerate of comic books and fossils and coins. Have you kind of noticed any
Yeah,
sort of
it's
unusual aspects with going, I don't know, that sort of route as opposed to a CNG or your kind of traditional brick and mortar auction firm?
and I've consigned to CNG in the past, and I love working with CNG. I think I did this just because there was specific. There was one auction that they were doing that was just, I think it's active right now. That's just star in toned ancient coins, and I had a few of
Ooh,
those.
weird.
Um,
It's kind of a funny special sale,
yeah,
but it's very good for you though if you're consigning. I guarantee you, everyone
yeah,
who spends money on that
you
kind of
know,
stuff is going to show up.
yeah, I think so. And I had some nice things, and I just figured, I usually buy through Heritage. I haven't sold, so I consigned a few to Heritage and see what happens. And I've got a few that I'm going to probably consign to CNG for the fall sale, and you know, just trying to uh, make sure my collection has focus and that I've got funds ready to go for things that I want to add.
Yeah, like that's always a great challenge, kind of balancing staying focused and having funds. It's too easy
Yeah,
to spend
I
it
mean,
all in different stuff.
yeah, as I'm focusing on Byzantine and trying to get some things like that, I've been selling off some of my U.S. stuff as well.
Good. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think Byzantine's a lot better. I think like you said earlier, I think honestly it's a series where you get the most bang for your buck. Lots
Without a
of
doubt.
history.
And
It's just so cheap. I mean, compared to like U.S. gold coin prices, compared to REI prices, compared to Solidity. I mean, there's pretty much no comparison. I mean, even look at that. Would you ever see U.S. golds or REI get group plotted like what we see here? I just think
no,
that's a very Byzantine thing. Even though I think objectively in comparison, there's as much history behind these coins as Roman. Just people don't seem to care.
it's just people don't know as much of it. That's the thing, right? And that was my thing. I started to learn about the history and got into the coins from there. And the more I got into it and more I learned, the more I started to focus on it.
I think that's actually
Um,
exactly it. You said earlier in the video too, just kind of the idea of ancient coins. I don't know, the whole way to make money is kind of telling a story. And actually, I feel like the further I've gone in the industry, the more I see that's actually the case. It's the coins you can sign with a write up and a header that actually get a lot of attention and make a lot of money. It's really about sort of selling the history besides the coin to make that coin more interesting.
Absolutely, and there's a number of ways to do that, right? I mean, it's either the history around the coin and what was going on at the time, or the provenance of it, or uh, whether it's been plated. I've been really getting into some of the older auctions and learning about the big collectors in the past, and I think that's actually very interesting too. The people behind the collections.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of a fun arc too. I think I don't know,
Yeah,
pedigree sort
it
of
is.
add I don't know, a layer to your collection that you kind of don't get elsewhere. I just feel like there's sort of a prestige behind it that once you sort of have a couple pedigreed pieces, I don't know, I just feel like your collection is taken more seriously as opposed to bought last year at Savica. I don't know. Just more
Yeah,
interesting.
I
It
mean,
makes it feel a bit more credible by having those pieces.
there are certain auction houses that they've got a horde of different things that they found recently, and and they put collection before X, foreign before X, and those, I mean, you'll never find provenance on that because they're sort of fresh to the market, if you will. I don't know that they are, but um, that's my assumption. So I do like the idea of the provenance because they've been out of the ground for a little while, and they've passed through a number of hands, and it's just another interesting layer that you can add on to the story of the coin.
Definitely. Well, cool. I think we're pretty much hit about an hour and a half now of recording. So thank you for taking the time out of your day, and I'm glad we got to kind of sit down and get another episode put out. I feel like it's been too long, so hopefully now, I don't know, I'm all settled in, school's going well. Maybe we can get a regular schedule set up and try to do weekly or bi-weekly episodes. And that way all the fans out there get what they want.
always happy to talk coins and and strategies around them and all that good stuff. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks again. And I guess have a nice afternoon for you and a nice night for me.